This is the bottle which appeared in my very first video on the subject of wines a year ago, almost to the day. At that time I wanted to show that only to a handful of people and never expected to make more than maybe a video or two per year. And it is in fact quite possible that that is what I will go back to once I run out of old wines. But before that happens, I will take the occasion to celebrate this anniversary with a second bottle of the same wine in comparison with the vintage 2015, that is 29 years later, of the same product by the same vintner. The bottle now contains the standard 75 centiliters instead of 70, but it's the same vineyards, grape variety, predicate Spätlese, late harvest, and sweetness level halbtrocken, half dry, which is just slightly off dry. The names of the vintner are different because in 1986 still ran under the father's name Schwaab-Jakoby, although the wine had already been made by his son Volker Schwab ever since the late 1970s, as he told me on the phone. Not having expected much of this 2015, I just tasted it. It is a very complex, fruity and rich Riesling rather than spritzig and fresh. It's medium plus body, tastes like it can easily mature into the kind of taste I recall of the 1986 and the 1979, and so it has lots of potential instead of just being a summer coffee to be drunk up quick. Therefore, it could well be my new go-to off-dry Riesling. Consider the fact that it is made from old vines on top of being a predicate Spätlese, and so the price of under €10, including postage, is unrivaled. I could buy a case and put away 2 to 4 bottles for aging of every vintage, so I'm pretty excited now about how it behaves on day 2. This nose was pretty complex and very rich last night. Sweet melon, pineapple. In fact, a whole basket of tropical fruit, you might say. Apricots. Some rhubarb. And even nettles. A whiff of something softer than sea breeze, so I'd call it white pepper. In the mouth. Medium plus, if not full body, almost oily. Sweet melon. And funny enough, grapes, that's a fruit nobody ever mentions. Extremely mild nutmeg, soft lime and slaty minerality, lacks a tiny bit of acidity, but still wonderful. I'd say the nose is a 91, on the palate it's a 90, so let's give it a 90. Later that night I thought the palate was a 91, but sipping on the last glass of it here on day 3, I think it has deteriorated into an 89, so that is what I will give it. And I'm excited to find out how my second bottle of the 1986 will show tomorrow. Hold your thumbs for me that this bottle is good. I lost the cork again. Had to decant it into the new bottle. Oh, heaven. Just like last year. The dominating fruit would be plum, actually. Quince and plum. Oily. It's just too exquisite for words. It would be a travesty to try to describe that with the usual descriptors, because it's just out of this world. It's just on another level.
You have to try it.
As so often with these old wines, I was speechless and couldn't do it justice in real time, so I will try to describe what that experience is like while sipping on the wine on day 2 of this. Basically, the fruit is one of unripe prunes, a subspecies of plums, and unripe quince. On the palate is mostly quince. But what is so extraordinary about that fruit is the crystal clarity combined with a profound calmness, as if the very essence of the fruit had been resting unspoiled and miles deep under the earth in a hidden undiscovered cave as a quiet pool for centuries and reached an unspeakable purity. So it is not a fireworks of interchanging aromas. In fact, it is almost simple and clear, but profound in its mature honesty and serenity. That fruit has an overtone of what is left of the sea breeze or white pepper over many Riesling, but which is now like a high-pitched intensity that has merged with the fruit as its highlight. In the length, this fruit is enhanced and followed by a counterpoint of aged acidity, as if the juice of an unripe quince had crystallized into small gems that are now slowly liquefying onto your tongue in a never-ending length. I just wonder what would have resulted from aging if it had started as a world-class wine to begin with. As it is in my enthusiasm, I'll call that a 94, and this brings me to the reason I produced these Riesling quickies over the past weeks, mentioning the ratings even on my videos, which I usually restrict to my notes on Cellar Tracker. The wines in those quickies are all very good, if basic, Rieslings, and compared to the young Volker Schwaab of 2015 in the first part of this video, roughly as follows. And you can see that the young Schwab is not such a terribly superior wine compared to the others. Please also note that I cut off at 86 equals 0 for a reason, because I do not want to drink any alcoholic beverage which I myself rate under an 86. According to Parker's table, the year 1986 was pretty good, but nothing extremely extraordinary, and probably not overwhelmingly better than 2015. And since the vintner, the vineyards, the product and the specifications are all the same, I think I am safe to say that this increase in quality is purely due to aging in a decent cellar, if the basic material has sufficient quality and backbone. Only rarely will you or I ever find the opportunity to carve out this aging effect so clearly in direct comparison. So I had 4 bottles of this and consumed 2 of them. I think I might open the other 2 on the anniversaries of this channel in 2017 and 2018, unless something extraordinary makes me deviate from this plan.